and today we're talking about these gorgeous things. I'll let you explain.
So today we went, it was kind of new because we went to an estate sale that had, people actually own an antique shop here locally, and they were, I guess, helping put it on. So I knew that they were going to have a pretty good knowledge base or whatever, but, still, they had mentioned they had sterling, and so of course I'm there. Me and Haley are on it like a bloodhound, but so, the important thing was they laid it out, and so you can see in the bag, they have $14 list and even have 20 grams written on there. And so all the bags, they had, several spoons, forks, knives. Of course, knives, you want to be careful because the handle may be sterling, but the actual blade will be probably stainless just because of the pressure of cutting.
And how they get more dirty.
Yeah, and they had some salt shakers there, salt and pepper shakers that were weighted, and they were glass lined, but so there was a glass lining for the salt and pepper to go into, and then the outer core was sterling. And again, I mean, you're talking about not really knowing how much silver, and they kind of priced it based upon the whole thing weighing. So I stayed away from that. I think most people really should stay away from it unless you're just getting a smoking deal at Goodwill or whatever. But
like $5, then it would be
then
out.
For sure. But as far as buying it from some of them, yeah. So like spoons, forks, things like that, big utensils that aren't knives. I think that's the way to go. They even had a platter there.
That was like $700.
Yeah, $750 asking price. Must have been, at least almost 40 ounces. But see, until today, so I was like, man, that's pretty high. And they said, well, precious metals, silver and gold, 25% off. So then I was kind of doing the math, and I'm like, well, is it 20 grams total, or is it 20 grams of the silver content? So you can take the spoon out if you want.
Yeah, it's good.
So when we got home, of course, the spoon weighs exactly 20, and it ended up being 0.595 troy ounces. It's got a little monogramming on it, and it's actually got a
B.
19.
I think 1915.
Yeah, 1915 engraved on the back.
The lady said it was 1910, but then we looked, it said 1915.
So it's 20 grams. And of course, do the math. 925 times 20 grams, and it ends up equaling to 0.595 ounces. So when we bought it, the 25% off, I wanted to get Haley just a little something for her collection. But the important thing to notice is when they have it all weighed out, and it sounds good, like, wow, 25% off, but all they're doing is they're putting a price on it, 30% higher than spot. So even when they go down, you're still just getting, you can get a good deal. We ended up getting a good deal only because when she rang it up with some other things that we had bought, some books, she gave us much more than 25%. I think she actually gave us like
half off.
She gave us like 60% off on accident,
60,
and
yeah,
so that ended up being a good deal. The tray would have been cool, but the funny thing is they had brushes, they had a mirror set and all that kind of stuff. But it's exact things that I've seen people find at Goodwill on YouTube. And I thought, wow, that's really cool. So I know that stuff exists. So anyway, on the spoon, it was just kind of a learning experience just to kind of see, when it's marked, well, how much is it actually, is that the weight of the silver, weight of the dill, the discounts going on Saturday as opposed to Friday, and just being diligent. Obviously the best thing is to find somebody that doesn't know exactly, and, they don't have it marked in grams, because then obviously they know. This one, we found this last week, right, at the thrift store?
Yes, we found it at the family thrift store because we thought, we've never gone there because I guess it's kind of on the different side of town. Sorry. I'm not looking at the camera. Okay, so we were looking and we found this, and we thought, well, people sometimes at like rodeos and stuff, like in fairs, they win belt buckles, and I think.
And this one's confusing. And I was gonna say that this one's said German silver. And I have a picture that should show up at the beginning of the video, but it says, Montana silversmith, German silver. So I remember German silver being kind of a term used for 80% silver, 0.800. So I thought, okay. And then when I got it home and looked it up, it's just a term that this company uses to describe an alloy that looks very similar to silver, but is actually, you know, more like I think nickel and zinc and stuff like that. So this one, however, in the stores it was sold for $32.50, but it's a very old label. I looked it up on eBay, and anywhere from 30 to 50 bucks. And you know, like I said, we got it for I want to say 6 something.
I think it was like $6.30 or 50 something cents.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, it's not silver. It said silver, but it was a good learning experience that isn't going to end up costing me money. I'm still going to make money off of it because it's worth, you know, 5 times what I paid for it.
Yeah.
But again, the point being is, if it says German silver and then says 0.800, then you know it's 80%. But if it doesn't say that, and then today the same thing. We went to 3 different estate sales. We found so much plated, electroplated nickel silver.
I can say that I've learned so many marks for either stainless steel or.
Yeah, and it always comes down to the same thing, and it always comes down to, unless it says sterling or 925. That tray I talked about earlier actually said sterling and 925.
Yeah.
So I mean, but. Yeah, like I said, if you're looking and you're like, man, this, you know, this says this says that. Like I said, all this, if this would have had 0.800, I would have known exactly, oh, this is silver. But I saw German silver, and you know, Silver Smith Company that made it in Montana, and I thought, man, that's got to have some silver in it. And I was wrong. Luckily, it was, you know, anything you learn from mistake that doesn't cost you a lot or doesn't cost you anything, it's a very, very good mistake to have happen. So anyway, that's just kind of the 2 things we'd gotten. Like I said, the spoon, people knew what they had. We still ended up ultimately getting a decent deal, but just kind of beware when you're looking at stuff that's weighted, stuff that especially salt pepper shakers, goblets, little cups, candle holders, all that stuff is gonna, you know, have that kind of weightedness to it. Sometimes they fill it with like a kind of a cement sort of thing, or some of it'll be glass lined, or some of it'll be yeah, and it's just, you just never really truly know the weight unless you were to rip the silver off or melt it. And you know, so unless you get a good deal, and it would be very cool to have, and yes, it is still, I'm sure, a couple ounces of silver total. You know, just never, because they had on the salt shakers, they said, oh, this is 60 grams or 80 grams or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, but you know, maybe maybe 20 of those are of actual sterling. But anyway, so we just want to do a quick video of our stuff today. Learned some new stuff. That was really cool. Saw a bunch of the other stuff that keeps fooling you. You would swear it was silver, and then you see those lovely EPNS or IS or steel plated, or I saw some today that said multiple plated or thick plating.
I can say I've never seen like nickel plated, because I usually either see silver plated or stainless steel, because that's the most common. But I saw a nickel plated, I was just like.
And some people say like oh, look for this certain marks from like really old stuff, like in line with the hand up or whatever. Yeah, that's fine too, but I would say if you want to ensure that you're not going to get ripped off and you're not going to be regretting a purchase, it has to literally have some numbers on it, and it's more specifically sterling.
And
in this situation, had it said 0.800, or you know, whatever mark, but it had an actual number on it in the silver.
You can see by the spoon.
And that was my mistake. Like I said, luckily I'll sell it on eBay for $30 or something. And
now the spoon, you can already kind of tell by the date, because that's when most silver things made. And you can also see, I think there was a little mark. I don't think you can see it on this camera, but
I got some pictures I'm going to show them at the beginning. I took close up. So
it does say sterling, and then it says B right there.
Yeah, so it's just kind of, I don't know. It's just one of those things where, you know, we go shopping a lot, thrift stores, and I'll watch these guys on YouTube. Like, they'll find, it was just the craziest thing today. Like when we walked in, and I was like, wait a minute. I saw a guy, you know, find this in a Goodwill in California or Oregon or wherever.
Illinois.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, I've seen that exact brush. I've seen that exact salt shaker and that exact, you know, knife set. Or it's definitely out there. And to be honest, I don't think most people, honestly, even that tray that we saw, I had to sit there and look for that deal. I could not find the mark. The lady actually said, "Oh, we had a hard time finding it too. It's on the side of the handle."
Yeah, and she asked, "Do you need a loop or do you need?"
Because it's so small,
Yeah.
you had to actually have a loop. And so then I thought, man, how many people are really going to know? You know, and like I said, if you find one of those for $10 at Goodwill and it's 40 ounces of silver, I mean, that's just crazy. And
That's a good deal. Who would donate that?
so me and Haley have really been enjoying our little silver quest, and especially on the sterling side of it. I mean, the coins are we've been doing that for a while, and we're gonna have some new coin videos coming up real soon. We have some trips planned to Dallas soon, so we're gonna be stopping by my favorite San Antonio shops in Dallas and in between, you know, maybe Austin. And we're going to pick up some cool stuff along the way, and going to Houston soon too to watch the Astros game.
Yeah.
So we'll be stopping by my favorite stores out there.
Because there's some really good ones in Dallas, Houston, and San Antonio.
And I'm going to do a video soon of some of the ones, like some of the cool things I've found just by going to the junk silver side or ordering. I'll explain later, but it's just some of the kind of the cherry picked ones I've found, and what kind of quality, more expensive coins you can find just by being, you know, vigilant. So, and still paying the melt price. But anyway, we better wrap it up. We're running long. So we'll see you guys soon.